Good morning again, guys. Getting ready to head into the office this morning. Having a bit of a bad hair day of all things. Not something I normally go into, but we move on. Making myself a English muffin for breakfast. You don't care. Hoping, again, just hoping that I can find a little bit of time this afternoon to head on out to the park and fly that home-built DIY quadcopter. Because I've been saying I'm going to do it, and I'm running out of time to do it. And actually, now that I'm thinking about it, just randomly thinking here, I've got to go get a jacket because it's like 50 degrees outside here, 50 Fahrenheit, and it's a little chilly for me. So I'm going to take a hoodie with me. I'm having a severely hard time waking up this morning, guys. But I've got to go into work, do a few things in the office, have morning meetings and whatnot. And then I can head on back home. That was pretty quick and painless. I went in this morning, had my meeting with the boss and everything seems to be going all right. He gave me some tips on some things I can do to help automate my build process. Things I've kind of done in the past, but slightly different tool set, so I've got to get used to that. And there's other people in the company I'm going to be reaching out to for some help with that, so definitely nice to have some good direction. For now, I'm going to go grab some lunch, head home and everything. Kind of decide if I want to wait till I get home to eat or not. It's practically lunchtime right now, but I would rather wait till I get home because I know I can better control the calorie intake. And actually, I was very amused this morning. They were doing a new employee orientation, and apparently they were doing it in the wing of the building that I work in. And as it turns out, another person I used to work with at Lexmark now works for this company that I'm with. So I think that's 4 at this point. There was just this mass exodus of people. They let go of some ridiculous number of software developers. And luckily, the company I work for had a decent-sized amount of openings. So now several of the people I used to work with, I work with again. And I completely forgot to mention, last night I put this out. You probably saw from the time lapse I did yesterday. I put this out on the front porch, and I completely screwed up. I put it out, I don't know, 7 or 8 o'clock at night, and before I went to bed, I was getting ready. I was working on the vlog, and I happened to look. I was like, wait a minute, I did a time lapse today. Where's the footage? It was still on the front porch. It had been out there for like 3.5 hours, maybe more. The dew had settled in and everything. I mean, this thing has taken a beating, and it just keeps right on going, no questions asked. And I will say, for the video quality, it's 1080p on I think on both the front and the rear-facing camera, and it does a very surprising job. This is the Yoda phone, the original Yoda phone with the e-ink screen on one side and the just traditional screen on the other. Does not work on 3G even here in the US, but it works on 2G, and realistically, I just use it as a camera at this point. You know, you're supposed to use it for an e-reader. I haven't really done any e-reading in a long time, so still, nice to have that as an option. To have a phone that I don't really have to worry about so much breaking. Don't tell Duncan, but I am seriously tempted to pick him up one of these for Christmas. He has never been big on riding outdoor toys, but this thing is just so cool. It's a pedal car, and it's fully controlled, so you got forward and back, and you got a brake, and it's a little much, but it should last him till he's 9 years old and 150 pounds. Hopefully he's not going to be 150 pounds at 9 years old. I don't know. Christina definitely wants it, but I think we're going to take him out to Sam's and see what he thinks of it first. I think I actually forgot to mention it in there. I made a quick stop by Sam's. Usually when I'm here in town, there's a Sam's near where I work, and I will stop by there every time I come in here, just in case there's something that we need or something that I missed. And as it turns out this time, we may have found something that Duncan might be really interested in. He's got a bicycle, and for whatever reason, it's just not clicked for him. He hasn't really discovered a love for riding a bike yet. He's afraid of it. And so we were talking about getting him a big wheel just to get him started. If you're not familiar with big wheel, it's got 1 large wheel in the front, 2 in the back. It's effectively an awesome tricycle, and that would be okay, but for about the same price as a big wheel, you've got that little really nice 4-wheel pedal car, built-in brakes and gear mechanism and everything. Just, it seemed like a good option. I don't know. I think we're gonna, instead of picking it up today, I think we're gonna find some time and take Duncan out to the store just to let him look around, you know, start building up his Christmas list, as it were, and maybe see if he fits in that and see if he thinks that that's something that's cool, if it's something he'll ride in the store. But for now, it is time to head home. You know, random thought here, something I've been thinking about for a little while now. I've been using the OnePlus 2 as my daily driver for a little while now, and there's an app that I use for keeping track of calories, for keeping track of the amount of food that I'm eating in a given day, called Lose It. And normally, Lose It works just fine on every phone I've tried it on, every tablet I've tried it on, and recently I've tried the latest version on phones and tablets and stuff, and it's worked just fine, except on the OnePlus 2. And that's why I'm mentioning this. Do any of you guys have the OnePlus 2? And if so, if you use the Lose It app, have you tried the Lose It app? Does it work for you? Because what I've been finding with it lately is that it keeps logging me out, saying that the food database can't be found on the SD card, which makes sense because there's no SD card. But inside the app, there's actually a place to say where you want to store the food database location, and I always choose internal storage instead of SD card. But for whatever reason, it just keeps crashing, logging me out entirely, and I have to log back into it. And it seems to be happening anytime it tries to access something that's not in my local My Foods database. So I don't know what's going on with that. I'm not going to say that's going to be enough to swap me back to another phone immediately, but it's enough to make me think about it, because I am actively trying to get back on keeping track of logging on a regular basis to try to get rid of some of this weight. Made it home safely and everything. Forgot to mention that. Forgot to even turn the camera back on. Been doing a little bit of work. Forgot to mention also that just a few days ago I received this. Finally got a chance to pull it out and hook it all up. Here's the battery that goes with the quadcopter I'm building. But this is the IMAX B6AC, and I've got it set up to charge 2.2 amps. It says 12.3 something volts. It's changing, but it's got the balance plug plugged in as well as the Dean's connector, so hopefully that's going to do its job and get everything charged up nicely. Want to make sure it has a full charge before I take it back out there and try to fly it. Also, this came in today. This is a Have It mechanical keyboard, lighted backlit display. I have actually not used a mechanical keyboard since like the 80s. They had a bunch of them at Lexmark. I never used any of them there. They used to make them IBM Lexmark, but I just never really had one since probably since my original like IBM Tandy that I had years and years ago. So when Have It reached out and asked if I wanted to do this, it's actually, Have It is the company I did my very first sponsored video through, and they reached out and asked if I wanted to do another one. This video is not currently being sponsored, just saying that, you know, they sent this out to me for a review, for actually a sponsored review. But even when I do a sponsored video, I make sure that it is accurate, that it is actually my opinions, and that I do let the company know if I find anything that I don't really like about the product. So just thought I'd throw that out there. I will be taking a look at that shortly. I've actually been using an Apple keyboard as sort of my primary keyboard here at home for the last several years. And I started doing that because when I was earlier on making videos, I was making a lot of screencasts where basically you've got the little webcam up in the corner and you're talking into a microphone and doing stuff on the screen. And that means I was talking very close to where I was typing most of the time. So I wanted the quietest keyboard I could find, and the Apple keyboard was one of the quietest out there. But now that I'm not really doing that anymore, that's just not my thing really, I figured it was a good time to go ahead and give it a shot on a mechanical. I know so many people that just rant and rave about mechanical keyboards, and thought I'd give it a shot. That was a little bit surprising. I was trying to do some stuff for work, and suddenly I started hearing this beeping, boo doo 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 doo. Down here the battery says end, finish. 432 milliamp hours, I guess, is how much it charged. Took about, what did it say? Took about 17 and a half minutes. Means it must have only dropped by about a quarter since I started using it. And I've only used it a little bit here and there, so might be time to take it out and fly a little bit. Well, that didn't go terribly well. Now my hair's messed up. Yeah, I took the racing quad. Now that the battery was charged, I took it out back just for a quick flight. I actually got about a minute and a half of really good footage of it. And basically that means footage of me flying it around in the backyard and doing turns and trying to do a little bit of funnels and being terrified of it because it does have a little bit of a response lag. I'm gonna have to see if I can iron that out. And then I started messing around with the controller, trying to see if there were different rates that I could enable. And apparently there's like I don't know if it disables the gyro entirely or what, but I pushed forward, and instead of just going forward like it normally would, it went straight down and plunged itself into the ground. And so when I got it all back and set it all back up, the next time I tried to take off, another one of those little nuts on the propeller took off, and it's black and it's gone. So I think what I'm gonna end up doing is taking all of these off of the original HMX 280, putting them on the racing quad, and then putting these self-tightening propellers on the HMX 280 and trying those out. Not the best option, obviously, but it is an option. And I will say, that racing quad, it definitely does have an awful lot of power, but I'm still just not convinced that it's worth it over something. $167, I think the HMX 280 was, and I've had so much more fun flying that thing than worrying about all the exposed electronics on the build it yourself quad. I've learned a lot building it myself, but I don't know. One-time thing, I think it's totally worth it. More than one time, that's, I don't know, the upkeep on it I think is the biggest concern for me. It's time to break out another one of these machines we don't use terribly often. Panini Maker. Gonna have some tasty panini sandwiches. Tasty and not terribly high calorie. With them hot jalapeno peppers and some hot cheese. I'm going for the spicy sandwich apparently.
Goofy looking mutt. I look over and her hair's standing straight up. What?
And there's your sandwich. I got jalapenos under the cheese. I'm not gonna go with butter on it because I don't need the extra calories. Here we go. Some more switches.
What is that?
It's jalapenos and hot cheese and turkey.
I think you go to the bathroom.
Hot. So good.
Go to the bathroom. That's really good.
Well, that was a little bit scary. A few years ago, okay, go back. When I was young, I had allergies. I had bad allergies, but it was not anything like you're gonna go into shock over or anything. It was just common allergens: dust mites, grass, anything outdoors. And for the most part, I've been fine with it since I was young. A few years ago, I went back to the ear, nose, and throat specialist. They said I was allergic to nothing. They did the whole pricks test and everything, and all the scratch test all over me, and I didn't react to anything really. So they said, you're not allergic to anything. And since that time, every 3 months or so, I come down with some sort of a sickness that I think is allergy related. Well, in doing all of this clean out for the yard sale we're getting ready to have, that's what we were doing in the garage there, is getting all this old stuff organized to sell off at a really low price just to get rid of stuff, to clear out, to make room for all kinds of stuff here and in the rest of the house, and before the baby, more stuff Christina's nesting about. But somehow I must have scratched myself on something, gotten some dust on, so my finger started to swell up. That's the first time that's ever happened. And then I noticed I was itching like on my arm and on the back of my neck, and it's just like everywhere I turned, I started to itch, and I started itching in my eye, and I freaked out. So I took some Benadryl, I washed my hands thoroughly, and I think I'm under control now. I never had any sort of issue in my neck or throat or anything, so I'm okay. But that was definitely disconcerting. In completely other news and stuff I'm kind of excited about, you guys probably saw I did a video about T-Blocks recently. They sent me out a T-Blocks, had a t-shirt and a couple other things in it, and it's like 10 bucks a month, and I think there's a 15% off coupon code. If you watch that video, you can get the coupon code there. However, if any of you guys are interested in signing up for it, they said, congratulations on hitting 5,000 subscribers on this channel. They said, keep up the awesome content, and here are 3 giveaway codes. They didn't say how I should give them away or anything, so I'm just gonna give them to you guys. This will give you 1 month for free, and the 3 codes are TwillPlays20, TwillPlays25, and TwillPlays29, and I'll put these up on the screen real quick. So there they are, and the first 3 of you that hop in there and get them, congratulations. Just so you know, it will probably ask you for credit card information, just as a guess there. They asked for mine whenever I signed up for my free subscription to it, but you should be able to cancel it at any time. There's no, lock-in or contract or anything. So to those of you who do sign up for it, congratulations, have fun with it. I need to get some more steps in, and I need to make sure I'm not reacting to anything anymore. So we've been out here going through all of our past stuff we found in boxes. Yeah, that's from high school, I think. Shaquille O'Neal at his finest. I got skills, I'm outstanding, gigging on them. What's up, Doc? Can we rock?
Apparently you like meatloaf.
Meatloaf was awesome. You leave meatloaf alone.
You know what?
Random stuff. There's Steppenwolf. I had some taste, just not much. Jeff Foxworthy, Rage Against the Machine. I was into a little bit of everything. Soundtracks from movies that I loved. Good Burger was an awesome movie. You can't deny Good Burger.
It was a good movie.
That Thing You Do.
Nirvana.
And Nirvana. And I've got the original wherever you put it.
It's on the bottom.
Nirvana, the Nevermind. That was a good one too. And the this thing is probably a collector's item to somebody. Where's the beef? Old hand that used to be attached to stuff. And we threw away all of the other things. Lots and lots of stuff.
All Jordan's awards from high school.
Yeah, I had a lot of like valedictorian awards and awards for excellence in this and excellence in that. Music, lots of music stuff, and
all your scripts from
from musicals I was in, and all sorts of musicals that we went to when I was in high school, like playbills and stuff from them. Just good to thin out. I'm so done with all this stuff. You done with all this stuff?
Yes, it's been in a tote in our attic, and I didn't even know.
You're fuzzy. No, you're not. It's been in a tote in our attic, yeah. And it's time to get rid of it. And this was about all that came out of it. And I had like old SAT score results and ACT results and just stuff. And now that entire tote is empty. Coolest, niftiest thing that we found. And I remember this from actually getting it. This was a picture of all the people that were on the USS Bunker Hill, I think, with my poppy. My grandfather, who passed away a couple years ago. And that's him. That was him. I think he had just turned 18, or he was still 17 at the time, maybe. And this doesn't even have a year on it.
U.S. Naval Training Center, Great Lakes, Illinois.
Yep, and there's all that stuff about it. April 11th, 1945. Wow. I'm very seriously tempted to have this framed. Because, I'm sure if nothing else, my grandmother might like to have it back. I'd like to have it framed. Duncan has gone to bed now. Read him his nighttime story and everything. Time to sit back and rest a little bit. Although, yeah, I've still got to get another 2,200 steps or so. By the way, I did end up unboxing this earlier. This mechanical keyboard. As you can see, it's got lights on it. Just tap the lights button and it swaps to different colors. Hold the function button and tap it again. And it goes to a different pattern. There you can see it sort of breathes. It goes in and out like that. Go to a different one. Goes off. Oh, it doesn't exactly go off. I forgot about that. It just goes to sections there. And then you can do this, and it goes to sort of a rainbow effect. Does that. Very neat, very festive. Then back to the colors. I prefer it this way. And yes, that is for a sponsored video, but I will be giving honest thoughts and impressions on it. Really, so far, and I don't want to give too much away here, but the only problem I have had with it is just how loud it is, and that's because it's a mechanical keyboard. And that's it. So realistically, you can hear that there. That's clacking. But I don't type quite as much as I used to type, so I don't think that's going to be too big of a deal. But yeah, I've got to get back on the treadmill, get some more steps in. Are you exhausted?
Yeah, but we still have so much more to do.
Always more to do. I'm itching, and my eye is hurting now, so that's great.
Did you take Benadryl?
I did. And I washed my hands, and I don't know, I think I got some dust in my eye or something.
Probably. You were going through a box of stuff from
20 years ago. Is he kicking the crap out of you?
No, not kicking right now.
Falling asleep.
They'll have clothes to go through and DVDs.
Yep. Because we've got 2 DVD cases. That thing over there in the corner and that thing over there. Both completely full of DVDs, and we don't watch DVDs anymore. We used to, but it's been a really long time. Only time we watch a DVD now is if we go rent one. So it's time to sell them off, to give them to people that need them for a really, really fair price. Hey, guess what? I'm sitting in my chair. It's late in the evening. What does that mean? It's the end of the video. Christina and I got a decent amount accomplished tonight. Went through a lot of stuff. I've said it a couple of times now, I guess. We're going to be having a yard sale, I guess this weekend. It's something, she came to me probably a month ago and said, we've got all this extra stuff. Can we stick it in the garage and have a yard sale? We normally have one in the summer, and that's just when everybody has them. And I said, well, why can't we just have a yard sale now? You know, have it in a few weeks when we've got some time. And lo and behold, it's actually going to happen now. And it's allowed us to sort of cull a lot of the excess that we've had laying around that we just don't need to keep laying around. So hopefully that'll turn out for the best. Hopefully people will actually show up for it. And if not, I think we're going to end up donating a lot of stuff to charity just because we don't necessarily need it around the house anymore. And I'm sure there are other people that could definitely use some of these things that we're getting rid of. You know, winter coats and gloves and scarves and toys for the kids and things like that. But anyway, I'm going to go ahead and finish this video up, and I'm going to head to bed because I am exhausted. So thank you guys so much for watching. We're going to see you again tomorrow.